we're back to record the lunar completion of the lunar rendezvous and docking. So let's see where we were. So we are about 60 kilometers up. Looks like this is the periapsis, and we've got a little bit of delta V left. Not, you know, as much as you'd like, but actually more than I thought I'd have. So maybe this is a better, functioning Altair than I had thought. So we've got the current closest point of approach at 22.3 kilometers apart. That'll occur about an hour from now. Now, as far as I'm aware, there isn't an easy tool to tell. Oh, maybe, here, let me check. So let's go through. Closest approach tells me how close, the closest I'll be. It doesn't agree, apparently, the MechJeb value of 19 kilometers with the stocky value there. So now I wonder if I can get the target orbital period. Okay, I can. Target orbital period, and how about my orbital period? Orbital period. Okay, so that tells me the difference between our trips. So not too different, about 45 seconds difference between, let's see, between my period and that of the craft I'm docking with. So let's see how fast. So just to make a rough estimation, so 1660 about my speed times that difference of, let's say, 45 seconds. So in that difference of time, we'd cover or an estimation of 74.7 kilometers. Let's see if that has any value or not. So if the closest we'll be is that, we might actually end up lapping ourselves there. So that tool does update a little bit. Now, it's one of the weaknesses of only having the one pass. Like technically if you go, let's say if I shoot from below it, above, and then back down again, then I'd get two values at two different spots that I could use for, estimations. But here I've just got the one point where I get near. So I only get the one number, not two per orbit for context. So let's see, I want a maneuver node editor, there we go. So I want to try tweaking things a little bit and see what what kind of information that gives me. So I'm the further out one, is that right? Maybe not here. It's probably easier to tell if I just, no, I'm the closer in one. Okay, sorry, I forgot my colors. So that gets me closer. Oh, so that actually tells me 48 kilometers. Is that on this pass? I think that might be on this. Oh no, 2 hours. So that'll be after another pass. So there will be 22 kilometers away from each other, and by this point we will have gotten even further apart. So I think, right. So what I said last video I think is true, is what I'll have to do is actually push my orbit out a little bit like that, so that I'm the further out one, that the lander is slightly further out. So I think that's my goal. So now I have this maneuver. I found this is pretty effective. Let's see, make sure everything's on. Okay, so using the maneuver node editor's auto carry out, it works pretty well. First it uses RCS to get you to this position, so that's pretty effective because this thing's got super OP RCS. There's no reaction wheel on this, so I'll double check that when it comes down. And one thing, Realism Overhaul, we remove all the reaction wheels. That adds, you're not quite aware of how much of the work your reaction wheels are carrying out, that they're doing for you when you're repositioning things or getting ready for docking. So it says we're ready, we're in position, it's trying to perfect it and kind of wobbling around a bit. Those imperfections of a PID. Oh, okay, and it failed. It looks like it's gone past that point, so abort. So it decided it couldn't get that spot perfectly enough, so I'll use a little bit of RCS here to push myself out. So you can see my orbital period changing. Let's see. Now I think now I've got the longer orbital period. I could actually get myself an intercept at some other spot. See, so the most efficient way to do it would be to do phasing orbits. Would be to make it so my orbit's a little further out, but that it takes 2 or 3 total cycles for us to hit the same spot to match back up, rather than 1 or 2, which these numbers will look for, because it'll tell me where am I going to be in half an orbit, where will I be in one full orbit. So you'd have to note down a little, or at least in my method, I have to note down some numbers before doing that burn and after and such to figure that out. You know, what's my separation going to be if I'm just perfectly matched in orbit? That number should stay pretty constant. And how does that change as I do my burns? Because I want it to change to precisely in 2, 3, 4, 5 orbits, something like that, for me to catch up to that guy. So where are we right now? What's going on? So let's just follow them through the track so you can see the process. So right now I'm lower, so I'm ahead. I'm lower and currently ahead. Those are separate things. And because I'm lower, that means, let's see, 16, 4, 4. See, I'm moving slightly faster, ever so slightly faster, and therefore I'm getting away. So that's why I want overall to change my orbit so that I'm higher, so that he has a chance to catch up. So you can see as we go through the orbit. So we're pretty close. I guess this must be the difference, the 0.37 degree difference. There we go. And now I'm further out, so he has a chance to catch up. That's the kind of non-intuitive nature of adjusting orbits. So he's going to keep catching up, and next time our orbits kind of get close to crossing, so that daytime spot that I was watching. So distance 17 kilometers now, and here it says it's going to be 19. So that must mean that at some point I cross back to being lower. Oh, it's so hard to figure out sometimes. That's why it's just great to have tools like that are the ones that are built into MechJab as an example. Okay, so I must be lower, or no? Oh no, okay, he's ahead. So yeah, he's lapped me now a bit, right? Oh man, it's so hard to figure out. Okay, so at this point we're 20 kilometers away from each other. I usually like to start to do rendezvous stuff once we're closer than that. But maybe that'll have to do. So when I'm over here, so right now, this point we're at 10.6. So if I can tweak that just a bit, whatever little tweaks I need to make, actually I might want to make some normal tweaks. Okay, so 10 kilometers, 10.1, nope, that's not the way I want to be going in. 9.7, there we go, getting closer. Actually, I can probably, I can just look at closest approach. I don't have to move my mouse over there. That's handy. Oh, no, apparently not. Wish I could have a predicted closest approach. Maybe that's, again, just a function I haven't dug out yet. So 8.7, 8 flat, and I don't need to be viewing from here either while I do this. Ooh, there we go. So 7.8. How about now? 7.5. It's getting better. 7.4. See, it's starting to move now. 7.3. Okay, now let's see. 7.3. I'll do these little adjustments. So 6.5. See, if I can actually get to within 10 kilometers like that, pretty close. Obviously, I want to get it as good as I can. 4.3. Was that any better? Yep. Just these tiny adjustments. 3.9. There. That's not bad. So if I can get kind of within a couple kilometers like that, and on the daytime side, and all these ideal things, then I can start to do, kind of use a different approach to approaching the craft closer. So that's good. That's it. Within 4 kilometers, I'm happy with that. So I'm going to carry out that burn. So once I'm close like that, I can start to use the target speed and the target option in SmartAss to complete it once I'm close like that. It might still take a good chunk of orbit for us to match and get everything perfect, but I'm okay with that. It's kind of about delta V efficiency. So there's some tools I need to figure out a bit better. Let's just do it manually. Get myself to that position. I need to figure out a bit better in order to do more ideal phased orbits to match and rendezvous. So pointed this way. Let's do a small manual time warp and I overshot it a little bit, but that's okay. So put out the few meters per second of delta V. Now drop this so I can kind of manipulate it manually and watch. And is that as close as I get? Looks like that's it. So I also like to do little manual tweaks, so just get it rotating and look. Oh, no, so that moves it. Okay. See, I kind of want it to be earlier like this because the more daytime side I have to work with it, I might actually be able to get the rendezvous while I'm still in this daytime section of the orbit. Okay, any benefit here? No, that pushes me. Okay, so that's going to be where I'm at my closest, 45 minutes from now. So warp here, 45, yeah. So that'll get me towards where I want to be. Now I'm probably close enough that in this view I can see the other guy. Yep. All right. So that's getting closer and closer. Excellent. So he's currently just in front of me. And life support resources and everything look good because I didn't stay on the surface very long. This is just kind of a proof of concept testing mission. Didn't stay very long. Okay, yeah, stop your time warp. Okay, so we're pretty close to the goal. So right now it says in a little bit we will get like 0.7 kilometers closer. So now let's start using this. So it tells me, where's the target, what are our relative velocities. So I want to try to target it a bit more directly. So since yellow's where I'm currently aiming, I want to be here. So yellow plus pointing in a burn in what direction will add up to the purple spot. So somewhere around here. So while I do that, I'll keep an eye on this. And indeed, that separation is shrinking. Now it's moving into the future, which I don't want. It's moving. Oh, well, it's going pretty good. See, and just because we're close here doesn't mean our velocities will be ideal. Oh, thank you, Twitchy Connix. That's good enough. Half a kilometer, that's a pretty good improvement. So our velocities may be more, not ideal. I probably increased how fast we'll be moving relative to each other when we're at that closest point, but that's quite a balancing act. And because I'm, I'll be getting pretty close. Oh, okay, so now I want to target, relative velocity minus. So I want to pop around to cancel out this target velocity when I'm at my closest, so I can kind of recalculate everything from scratch. Again, probably not the most efficient way to do it, but it's an effective way to think through it and to do it by hand, which I like to do these things by hand. Okay, so within 300 meters of that closest point, and we don't have a huge relative velocity when we're at our target. See, the target, the difference, we're moving with respect to each other by just under 10 kilometers. So let me null this out. So I'm just using RCS to push forward to cancel that out. And then I can change things so I'm kind of aiming directly at it this time. So we're still on the daytime side, but I'm not so sure I'm going to get this rendezvous while we're still on the daytime side. So point myself towards the target. Whoa, it's crazy swinging RCS. Yeah, it's way overpowered when it's empty. It's probably, the RCS probably feels just right when it's having to drag around the heavy bottom and everything, but definitely too much when we're alone. So here we go, closest approach. It says we're going to be getting really close to each other. So you can kind of do that math. So if I'm moving at 5, it's going to take 100 seconds for us to get there, which I've got a good bit of delta V left, enough to get these maneuvers done. So I'm willing to spend some delta V to speed this up and some to slow it down afterwards as well. Coffee this time, not tea. Yeah, a lot of these maneuvers take more time. I really enjoy this in real solar system, the process of rendezvous and docking, even though I'm not very good at it. I just don't do it frequently enough, or I forget some of my tips or tricks, or you just lose that subconscious polish and ability. It's just really enjoyable because these distances are huge. I'm 80 kilometers above the surface. We were many kilometers apart. Sometimes if you are really far apart but in a similar orbit, you'll have to close a distance of thousands of kilometers using only a few dozen meters per second of delta V, and it's a really challenging task, I find. Whoa, what am I doing? Oh right, I can't use that time warp. I think I noticed that some other time. I don't recall. It kind of things look crazy, or it actually causes problems. That might have been because we were just outside of 300 meters or something, where we don't think of each other the same way. So we're approaching pretty rapidly. That thing's flying at me. What's the standard math? 5 times 3.6. So it gives you kilometers per hour. So pretty fast. Let me slow this down just a little bit. Kind of correct. So we're still. So right now I'm watching closest approach, and I'm trying to reduce that. So I'm aiming right at it. Very good. Right, now we want to point. Oh wow, approaching very fast. Okay. Clearly unsafe. NASA would not approve, but thankfully I've got this OP RCS because I can just null this out right quick. Alright, good. So now we're not moving too much relative to each other. Now I'm just going to blip time warp to make sure that we're not rotating. I wish there was a kind of a trick to do that with persistent rotation, just because things start to wander just a little bit, and it's enough to be really aggravating sometimes. So, okay, let's go minus parallel. It becomes aggravating because if this guy was gradually rotating, the axis of what's anti-parallel, so anti-parallel will point our docking ports basically facing each other perfectly. So that's what I want. Now I'm going to use these values here and try to null them out. So this one's the biggest one. See, we're slowly moving towards it. So L and J, so let's use J to increase this, to make this decrease at a decent rate. And once it's near about 0, I'll null it out. Oh, probably overshoot. Oh, again, this RCS is really overpowered. And see, sometimes even if I've got a plus here and this is going minus, it might be because I've got a little bit of a rotation because I'm trying to just change my translation, but depending on how balanced the RCS is around the center of mass of the craft, it may not be exactly what you want. So we've got that pretty close to leveled out. Let's leave that for now, and then use K to bump up this way. So you can see that's watching those numbers is really aligning this. And I locked myself this way rather than parallel because I've had that experience so many times where you're trying to null things out. You're trying to keep anti-parallel, but things are rotating ever so slightly relative to each other, and you're just wasting delta V kind of following it around as the docking port moves. So we're pretty close here. Even you can see it in the regular view. So I think this is going to be good enough. Good enough. And wow, I only had 68 delta V, which in real solar system is Realism Overhaul is a tiny amount, but it was enough. And I'm not that skilled at this, so come on, guys. You need to be able to dock. You did it before. Why are you not docking now? Oh boy. Are you this out of power? Why is it not? Huh. Well, I'll have to look into that. I don't know why these guys aren't willing to dock. But you know, if that failed to work in reality, I'll do what they would have done, which is to EVA over. But I'll have to look into, obviously, the reason I'll run through one of these kind of proof of concept missions, as I called it, is to make a list of all these operational glitches that I may not notice, just testing the things individually. So, this ring shouldn't come with me. These docking nodes clearly should dock with each other. Maybe it'll dock from the other perspective. Because we're so close, I can just switch over. Set as target. And let's see. Decouple actually separates it there. That's not what I want. Open hatch, no. Disable crossfeed, no. Nothing there suggests that we shouldn't be able to dock. So I've set you as the target. Let's rotate. See, this guy has a bit more sane RCS. I found that the docking capture behavior with this, I probably should tweak it because I think the strengths of those are still near their stocky values, and as a result, they magnetically snap to each other pretty aggressively, which isn't how we usually balance things in Realism Overhaul. You definitely have to be a bit more precise with getting things close and ready to go before they'll complete that magic magnetic docking. So we're a bit off angle. It's certainly not perfect, but as we saw the docking behavior previously when we did transposition and docking, they should still snap together. And bump? No, I'm not seeing any magic magnetic behavior. So I don't know why it's behaving that way. Oh well, I will have to look into that. Obviously, I'll probably do a test by quickly hyper-editing myself into Earth orbit to fiddle with things like that. But, well, it's good to know that it's a problem. That's why I like to test these things out before a lot of other people have a chance to fiddle, to actually try to play with the Realism Overhaul configs, because something like this can be super confusing for, you know, a new user who doesn't actually know, have an idea what's going on. They can't go into the code and fix it themselves. So let's leave. Goodbye, you. Good thing we all brought our spacesuits, and we'll all transfer back over using an EVA. In the Russian systems, they didn't. Their plan with the N1, they wouldn't have had this lovely tunnel that the Americans developed, where you could both dock and then pass back and forth through. Their trick was to have a manual. Oh, come on, let go. I need my camera. Oh, of course, I don't have camera control. Oh, great. So switch views. That's a weird glitch I get sometimes. Oh, no. Unbelievable. So I can't control the camera, and I don't know why. I don't know who or what I angered, and now I just can't change the direction with which I'm. So if anybody knows what causes that, let me know. But I feel like it's just a glitch that happens once in a while, and of course every glitch piles on when you try to test it. You know, everything like this. Oh man. Oh, I thought I saw boarding. So that was insanely lucky. And now I can't change. Oh, there we go. Camera change there. Whew. Wow, I was crazy lucky to be able to do that. To actually successfully dock. Oh, right, and the camera's locked again. Well, fun. So right now I can move the camera no trouble. With the right click and drag in and out, no trouble. Okay, and give you an EVA, and the camera's controllable again, so something must have given. Good. But I was crazy lucky to be able to dock that guy, because I hadn't saved in a while. I don't want to redo the previous portion of the video, but you know, weird glitches abound, and I just don't know if they're things I don't understand or problems in a mod or the base game, but you know, just things stack up. So, like I was saying with the Russian style of things, what they would do is they'd get a physical hard dock, so these two vessels would have been attached to each other in their style, but then the astronauts would EVA over the outside of the craft to get back into the what was the LOK, part of the N1 for Earth return. Kind of looked like a Soyuz. And call it LOK, whereas their lander's called the LK. So we have successfully rendezvoused and nearly docked beyond whatever that weird glitch was. And now the last part of the mission is to burn back to Earth and re-enter. So thank you for watching. We hope to see you again soon.